Welcome back to the Figma series. What we do, this is a prototype series for this menu here, and in this part, what we're going to do, we're going to navigate this list here, and then the content on the right will update depending on which list element are you on. So let's do this. First, I have two simple buttons here, so I just select them both and then create a component set. After that, I'm going to select the first one and I'm going to name this to active and set it to true. The other one is going to be active but false. All right. So now what we're going to do, we'll take this element, hold down an option, drag it out. So we have a nice variant, Command X to delete it or cut it. And then in here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to overwrite all of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there we go. And Command Shift R, we overwrite all of these, and then I'm just going to set this to fill. I'm also going to change a little bit the height. There we go. So what we want to do is now we're going to create a couple of variables again to connect to this list element. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do new collection and I'm going to call this list elements, and then I'm going to go with tab 1 because I might have another one in tab 2, who knows, right? So let's start with creating a couple of boolean variables, and this one is going to be called list, and let's list element 1. There we go. And then right click, duplicate, duplicate, duplicate 5 times. That's great. And what I'm going to do, select the first one to be defaultly active. So I just set this to true. Now we can close this, and all we need to do is just connect the variable and these component variants. So what I'm going to do is select the actual component here, and in here you can basically connect the variables and the variants. So apply variable, I click on it, and then I got my list element tab 1 and I select list element 1, which is true. So nothing going to change because this was already active. But if I go to the second one and I do the same, connecting to list element 2, which is set to false, the state will change. You see, it changed to the inactive state. And then we're going to do the third one and fourth one and fifth one as well. There we go. So this is great. So what we need to do now, just need to add the interactions. But yes, if you were with me with the previous video, I was showing how to do the controller navigation because we have a little bit of a problem. Figma doesn't, if I would be applying D-pad down here and also applying D-pad down here and D-pad down here and D-pad down here, when you actually press D-pad down, Figma will not know which one you mean. Do you mean to jump to this one or jump to the last one or the next one? It doesn't really know the order. So what we do here is that we use these components with an invisible interaction element. So let me just delete it for now, and let me just do it again so you will see what I mean. So in here, I'm just going to create a small layer here with something. I absolutely position it, and it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just going to hold the interactions. So I'll just name it to interaction. On the actual active, I don't want to see it. I could basically place it behind the button if I want to. It doesn't really matter, but I decided to just turn the opacity to 0, and then it'll be invisible. It's still there. I can add my interactions to this layer here, but it's not visible. So that's good for me. And then on the other one, I'll do another one for the same purpose. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to absolute position it, and instead of turning the opacity down, actually I don't want to see it at all. I want to actually hide it, because when you hide it, any interaction on this label, let me just name this interaction, any interaction on this label will be ignored by Figma until this button becomes active, because the active has an actual visible one. So let me show you how it works. So I'm going to select this layer here, and then it's very important that the interaction needs to be placed on the actual interaction layer here, you see. So let's go to prototype and start adding the interaction. I'm gonna start with the D-pad down, and what I want to do is set variables. List element 1 is going to be set to false, and then I'm going to add a couple of more because I need to basically set a state for each of these list elements. So I'm going to go to my second one, which is going to be tab list element 2, and that's going to actually be true. And then I go to third one, so set variables list element 3, and this is going to also be false. And then I'm just going to do the fourth list element, which is going to be false, and then I'm going to add one more list element, which is going to be fifth, and it's going to be false. So you can see here, when I press D-pad down, list element 1 going to be changing inactive, element 2 active, and the rest inactive. So the good thing in Figma, you can select this whole interaction, press Command C, and then go to your next interaction layer and just place it in here with Command V. Of course, we need to open it up and we need to rework this a little bit. So when on element 2 press D-pad down, element 3 is supposed to be true. So I press T to come up to find true, and then element 2 should be, I press F, false. You see, this is super easy. Now I can go to my next one, which is going to be element 3, and in here what I'm going to do is going to do, if I press D-pad down, element 4 is supposed to be true, and then element 2 is supposed to be false. So I just press F and then false. And let's go and do this for list element 4. So when we press D-pad down, 5 will be true and 2 will be false. There we go. So false, 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 true. Great. And then fifth is going to be looping back to the top. So this list element 1 becomes true and this is false. There we go. That's great. So this is supposed to work. Let me just test it. I like to test it before I go any further so I can see if I made any mistake. So I'm going to use D-pad down, okay, down again, down again, down again, and this works perfectly. That's great. Now I'm going to add D-pad up, which is, again, it's not that, it's actually quite fast. So I just copy the one I have here, open this up, press D-pad up, and then from here I know that list element 5 going to change to active, so I set it true, and then element 2 will going to be false. There we go. That's simple. Go to the next one, just add again D-pad up, and from list element 2, if I press up, it's going to be the first that's going to become active, and then the other is going to be false. There we go. And then I'm going to the third one and just changing it nicely. So it's not too bad. Element 2, it actually goes very fast once you get used to these. Using these variables, it goes super fast after a short while. I'm going to change this to up, and then it's going to be 3 that needs to be active, and 4 needs to be false, inactive. There we go. And then the last one is going to be D-pad up, and is going to be 4. Okay, am I right here? Yeah, so this is fine here. That suggests to me that I might have messed it up the other one. Let me see. D-pad up, so from 4 it has to be 3. Yeah, that's good. Okay, what about D-pad down? It goes to 5. That's good. Ah, this is great. So let's see if it's worked. So I'm just gonna go up, down and up, down, up, just checking back and forth if all of them works well, but seemingly all works perfectly fine. This is great. I love it. So if you actually want to do and say, okay, in many times you might want to add multiple interactions in a way of, like, for example, you have D-pad up and D-pad down. What if you want to add the left stick up, for example? So you can just take this, copy, paste, and then go back in here and then just change it to the left stick. Another one, this is D-pad down, make another copy, and then I just set up the stick navigation. It's very simple and very fast. Because you already set it up, you just need to copy it at this point. Okay, what I wanted to show you now is when we navigate up and down in this here, I want to show different content here. So how do we do this? It's super simple. So I already set up, let me just close these. I already have a content area. I should actually call this, I don't know, tab 1 content area. Something like that. There we go. And I have got all these. Let me just open these up. So I got different content for different list elements. List element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got all these different contents, right? And they are auto aligned. So we got auto layout selected here, and what I want to do is just go through these list elements, and I already connected them. I forgot to remove it for you. Okay, so let's start with list element 1, and list element 1 is going to be visible only when list element 1 is true, which is great. Nothing changed because it was set to, by default, set to true by default. If I go to list element 2 and I go to appearance, right click list element 2, it just disappears because at the moment it's not active. 3 going to do the same, 4 going to do the same, and then 5 again going to do the same. It's just disappear. But when I play the preview, the prototype preview, when I go down to list element 2, it'll just update to 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is really awesome. One thing I forgot to do is just changing these list element labels here, but that's fine. That's fine. I don't really mind it too much, so I'm just going to change that later. So this is what I wanted to show you. I think it's really cool. This really shaping up nicely. I can change my tabs and I can navigate on these, and you decide what you want to see for tab 2. What shall we do here? Shall we do like a settings area where you can basically toggle things on and off, or you can change things visibility maybe with the slider from 0 to 100 or 0 to 10, or do you want to see maybe like a grid system? The grids are very interesting as well, so like an inventory kind of thing. So let me know in the comment section what would you like to see for tab 2 and tab 3 as well. Okay, thanks for watching, and catch you later with part 3. Bye.